Wyatt begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Greetings, welcome to Wyatt, and I'm your host, Wyatt O'Brien Evans. Brr, woof, goddammit, woof, woof! Now, you know what? I got my very special guest sitting right over here ready to laugh, but okay now, don't mess up my intro. Anyway, let me say that it is absolutely awesome to return to the airwaves. My new podcast is the successor to Wyatt's Man Cave. Now, let me reintroduce myself. I'm a native Washingtonian. They say that you don't find that many around, that, most Washingtonians are transplants, but I am an original, and I have 2 degrees from the George Washington University, and I wear quite a few hats. As a journalist, my work has been featured in print and online media, including the Huffington Post, the Advocate, the Washington Post, the Washington Blade, as well as my online home, WyattEvans.com. That's WYATTEVANS. WyattEvans.com. The go-to destination for LGBTQ news, features, commentary, and entertainment. And I'm proud to say that WyattEvans.com is visited by nearly 100 countries. As an author, I pen the popular Nothing Can Tear Us Apart series of novels. Its genres are hot, that's HAWT, hot, masculine romance, action, adventure, and intrigue. And the current installment is entitled Frenzy! Frenzy. Dang, that felt good. So bop on over to WyattEvans.com and give yourself an exciting, enticing, and erotic treat by checking out Frenzy. Yeah. As a voiceover instructor, I've taught scores of individuals to develop their voices to be more effective in their professional endeavors. As a voiceover talent, I performed radio spots and commercials and narrations, and my most cherished accomplishment as a voiceover talent is performing narrations and radio spots for former Secretary of State Colin Powell's America's Promise organization. And I'm an intimate partner, violence and abuse subject matter expert, advocate, and speaker. Intimate partner violence and abuse is acronym is IPVA, is domestic violence and abuse within the LGBTQ community. And I conduct national IPVA seminars and workshops, and I'm a survivor of IPVA. So what can you expect from this podcast? Well, Wyatt spotlights, explores, dissects relevant, timely, and critical issues that impact gay or SGL, same gender loving gentlemen, with a particular focus on ethnic men of a certain age. Of course, Wyatt resonates with the entire LGBTQ community. So I'll have noteworthy and accomplished guests dropping by to include authors. My first guest is an author, relationship and wellness experts, comedians, activists, media personalities, politicians, musicians, and even adult performers, porn stars. Of course, Wyatt is uncensored, uncut. It's Eargasm for the grown folk. I said Eargasm for the grown folk. Now, having said all that, let me introduce one of those noteworthy and accomplished guests. Check this out. He's an exciting, thought-provoking novelist who's gonna dish about his series of novels entitled, and catch this, they are entitled Honey, Let Me Tell You. He's also an actor who performs a one-man show, y'all, that he conceived, wrote, and he produces, which showcases the main character of his book series. The brother's also a radio talent. You can find his podcast, Honey, Let Me Tell You Something, on YouTube and also on iTunes. The brother's a columnist. He's got a column called Honey, Let Me Tell You Something. Very popular, and I'm proud to say it's published by WyattEvans.com. So y'all, let me tell you something. This Honey, Let Me Tell You series of novels is chock full of masculine romance, angst, love triangles, intrigue, twists and turns, and not to mention some HAWT, hot sexual situations, which is so on the yummy, yum, yum, yum. So my listeners, are ya like feeling me? You better be. Anyway, so without further ado, Wyatt welcomes one off-the-charts talent, an all-around guy, one of my best friends. It is the incomparable Mr. R.L. Norman. Talk at me. How the hell are you?
Honey, let me tell you, thank you for that. It's still funny. How you doing this morning? How you doing?
I'm doing great, my man. Listen, you see, you could pay me to be your PR guy.
Yes, I can.
I know. We can work some out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. We'll talk about it.
Oh, God. Okay, we will. Okay, now, let me tell you something. Your series is very, very popular. So I want you to, for people who have been under a rock and don't know about your series, I want you to give us all the 411 on your Honey, Let Me Tell You series of novels. Talk to me.
Okay. Well, I have a series of novels, as he said. All the titles of the book contain the name Honey in it. And it actually is about a black gay professional man named Norman. And it goes through the trials and tribulations of him trying to find love.
Oh.
Now, during these trials and tribulations, as you read these books, you're going to find yourself walking in his shoes. Mm-hmm. I write my books real to form, so which means that when it comes down to simple things as a simple conversation with somebody or intimate situation in the bedroom, it's very explicit and very real to life. And it just walks Norman through his life when he's single, all the way to him trying to be married with children. Yeah, and so like I say, it's real to life. So expect to find yourself in certain situations that he's in. I try to make my books relatable to the point that you feel what he feels.
I mean, that's exceptional because, as I'm reading your novels, it's like I'm a fly on the wall because it's like I'm really experiencing what's going on. And it's really important for the novelist to be able to communicate that so that, it's like the reader is getting lost in the story,
Right.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Okay. Now, we're going to talk about the series. You've got 2 new books coming up. You are prolific. I mean, this is wow. Wow, baby. I'm still writing my new novel now. Through the corridors of time. But, travel back through the corridors of time. So, where were you born?
I was born in Bowman, South Carolina, which is about 15 minutes from Orangeburg, 40 minutes from Columbia.
Oh, is that a small town, medium size?
Small little country town with one grocery store, one bank.
Wow.
One post office.
Is it still that way today?
It's still the way today.
That's like you're caught in time. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Actually, it's very quaint.
it is quite quaint.
Yeah. Okay, well, tell me about your family. Tell me about your mom, your dad, and are you like the only child? Or what's going on?
Well, first of all, my father passed away about 10 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes, thank you. My mother moved back to Bowman, South Carolina, where she's living there now.
Oh,
But she's trying to move back up north, and we'll see how that works out.
okay.
I am the oldest of three brothers, three sons.
Okay.
My two brothers live in Jersey.
Okay.
One is an accountant, and one is a interior designer.
Wow.
And I live in D.C.
All right. All right. Yeah, see, we both, bopping around here in D.C. I love it.
Exactly.
Now, tell us, Mr. Norman, because, inquiring minds want to know just what was R.L. Norman like as a little boy? What three words would describe you as a little nipper?
Shy,
Oh.
a nerd,
Oh.
and I will say smart, if I may pat myself on the back.
Okay. Nerds grow up to be very, very sexy.
I tried my best. You are so funny.
But I'm just telling the truth. I mean, come on, man. I've had some nerd boyfriends, and it's amazing what they do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But see,
I'm still a bit of a nerd.
But see, that's another. Hey, I just got a new show idea.
What's that?
How to have sex with nerds.
I'm sure I can star in that one.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. We'll talk about it after the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're so funny.
I know. Okay, my friend. You were a civil engineer for a few years, I understand, right?
Yes, I was in New York and New Jersey.
Okay. And then you took a career detour that put you on the path of being an author. How did that happen? That's interesting.
I used to, every time I have an idea in my head, I used to write it down. And if I'm going through stuff in my life, I would write it down, because that was kind of my way of getting over it or dealing with it. If I get it off my chest and write it on paper. So I ended up writing what I didn't realize at the time was a journal. And at one particular point, I had broke up with somebody, and I wrote it all down.
Okay.
And I sent it to, I had 4 best friends called the Punks, which if you read my books, you'll know about the Punks.
Mm-hmm.
And they liked it, and they said I should send it to a publisher. And I was like, get out of here. What are you talking about? This is just some stuff I jotted down on a piece of paper. So I decided to try it, and I sent it to 10 publishers.
Mm-hmm.
And 7 of them came back and said they wanted me to write a book.
Whoa.
And I was floored, because I had never thought about that or wrote a book or anything like that. And then that's how the first book came about.
That's amazing, because let me tell aspiring authors this, and you already know it, RL, that normally doesn't happen.
Right.
That normally does not happen. So that is great.
Yeah, I was surprised, of course.
Wow. Okay. Now you've got 2 new novels dropping soon, which is damn ambitious. I believe the first one you're going to release is Honey, I Can't Stand the Rain, the story of survival. Yeah. And after that is Honey, Love is a Roller Coaster. Oh, that's like, who did Love Roller Coaster?
Ohio Players.
Yeah, Love Roller Coaster. Yes. Okay, but the whole title of that one is Honey, Love is a Roller Coaster, 2.5 kids, a white picket fence, and a dog. So, give us the 411 on both of them, and how are they different from each other?
Okay. Honey, Love is a Roller Coaster is a continuation of Norman's story. Norman at the moment is in London. He's been in London for like 2 years. He comes back from London and he finds himself with 2.5 kids, white picket fence, and a dog. Okay. The reason it's titled that is because when Norman was a little kid, he always grew up and he always wanted to be married with children, with a house with a white picket fence and a dog. So the story is him. The whole series starts with him being single, and then ends with him actually being married with children. Oh. So it's a whole journey of his life. So the Honey, Let Me Tell You Love is a roller coaster. Is how he suddenly finds himself in a roller coaster ride with kids and a dog. My. Now, Honey, let me tell you, Honey, I Can't Stand the Rain. That is a completely different story from Norman. I introduced a new character called Austin Johnston. Oh, wow. And this story is about, you know how we as grown black men, we don't like to go to the hospital, to the doctors or whatnot. Oh, yeah. You know, that's our stigma. For some reason, we got to be a man, and if we get any kind of ails or pains, we just wait it out and let it go away. This story is about a man who one day wakes up, he has a pain in his chest, he decides to let it go away, then it never goes away. Oh, wow. And he comes to find out he's inflicted with several health issues. Wow. So it's just his journey of him having to swallow his pride. Right. And have to go to the doctor and go through the checkups and go through the operations and whatnot. So I write this book to try to encourage my fellow black men to swallow your pride and realize that you need to take care of yourself. And you can do it. You can go to the doctor and you can sit there and listen to the good news and the bad news. And we should not be afraid or try to act like we are the man of the world when we're sitting here maybe even dying, and you just never know. Yeah, that is so very true. So this is going to be very instructive, and it's going to resonate with a lot of brothers, a lot of men. Yeah, I hope it's going to be an inspiration to us. Because a lot of us sit around and we don't take care of ourselves the way we should. Yeah. Yeah, we act like if we don't know what's really going on in our body, it'll just go away. Right. And just a quick note, when I was a kid, my father got the flu. And he absolutely refused to go to the doctor. And he got sicker and sicker and sicker. Oh, wow. To the point we had to call an ambulance for him. And then after that happened, he said, you know, all I had to do was get up and go to the doctor. It never would have happened. Right. And I thought about that. And that was my inspiration for writing this book. Because he could have died. Yeah. Just because of a simple thing he could have did. Wow. So I want this book to be an encouragement. That is powerful. Honey, I Can't Stand the Rain, the story of survival. I think that drops in early 2021, right? Exactly. Both of them going to be 2021. So you're going to have like a double shot. Yes. The dynamic duo. Yeah. Yes. I Can't Stand the Rain comes out first. Okay. And then Honey, Love is a Roller Coaster follows that. Follows that, exactly. A double shot. A double header. Yes. The dynamic duo. A 2-for-1-for. Oh my God, I like that. I'm gonna use that. I ain't gonna pay you anything either to use it. I'll see you in court. Oh my God. Judge Judy, baby. Oh Lord, I better pay you then. Okay. Judge Mathis. I don't want to deal with those two. They're tough, baby. They're some tough people. That's right. Okay, then this is what I want to. I know everybody wants to know this. Yeah. Okay, now get ready for this. How is and how much is your main character, Norman, based on YOU? I would say it is 60% me and 40% others. What I did was I wrote the story based on my situations and situations I've heard from my friends. Right. So, and and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm telling my friend's business
Okay.
because basically it's just a story.
Mm-hmm.
But I find that it's better to, it's not necessarily me making up a story.
Right.
It's real to life situations that happen. So when you read these books, you actually feel yourself like you say, a fly on the wall, like you're actually in a situation, because a lot of us have been in these situations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's probably 60% me, and 40% is my friends going through trials and tribulations of trying to find love themselves.
Well, you know what? I pretty much do the same thing, RL, with my characters, because it's actually just a composite of yourself, myself, and people that made impressions in our lives.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. Now, sir,
Yes.
I would like for you to do a reading.
Okay.
Yeah, so give us the title of the novel that you're going to read, and give us a setup, so we'll know what you're talking about.
Okay. Okay. This is a excerpt from Honey, I Can't Stand the Rain. And Austin, which is the main character, he just arrived at the hospital because he's about to have another operation, one of many operations.
Mm-hmm.
So he's actually in the operating room laying on the table.
Oh, wow.
Okay? I was laying on the table looking up at the ceiling. I was very still as the doctors talked amongst themselves. I didn't move. Actually, I couldn't really move. You see, I was having another operation, but this time I was not completely asleep. I was half awake and feeling no pain. Well, no pain in my body, but I was feeling pain in my heart. You see, I arrived at the hospital about 7 a.m. as requested. I checked in and answered the usual questions. When was the last time you ate or drank anything? Are you in any pain? Have you taken any medications this morning, etc., etc.? I returned my ID and I sat in the waiting room and waited for my name to be called. As I sat there, a woman came in. She went through the same routine that I did, and she sat down across from me. We had some more chit-chat, and I found out she was there for the exact same thing I was. After about 15 minutes, I was called to the back. I put on my robe and laid on the bed, and I sit there contemplating about what was about to happen next. I've had many operations that I've lost count, but of course they was necessary for my survival. As I lay there, I just kept thinking and thinking about how I keep going through these same things. As I looked across the room, I saw the woman in the waiting room with me. And with her was a woman sitting next to her bed, and I could overhear their conversation. Come to find out, the woman that was with her was her good friend of hers, and she was there for every procedure for moral support. That's when my heart started crying. You see, at the moment, there's nobody sitting here with me. No one in person, that is. Yes, my friends and family was always there for me, and I love them for that. But I realized something. As many times as I've had doctor's appointments, procedures, operations, etc., no one has ever come with me and held my hand. Yes, I have friends and family that drop me off or pick me up, but no one is there the whole time. But that's my own fault. You see, I consider myself a very grown, independent person. I don't need anybody to depend on for stuff. I try to do everything by myself. That's what a grown man does. And I don't want to be a burden to anyone either. That's why I never ask for anything unless I really have to. But I know my family and friends truly believe I don't need or want anyone to be with me during these times of hurt and pain. But the truth is, I do need and want somebody to be sitting by my side. I need someone. But at this point, I don't know how to make my friends and family understand that. I have been so independent all my life. How can I change now and ask for comfort? It's not that easy. But on the flip side, if I tell them how I feel, they will offer to accompany me just because I said something. And I don't want that either. Now they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. My heart cried even more as I thought about a picture I saw a while ago. It was a picture of a gay couple in the hospital. it showed one of them wearing a hospital gown and the other wearing street clothes. It was obvious they were partners by the way they looked at each other. But the thing that was quite striking about this particular picture was both of them was laying in the same hospital bed together. One was there to support the other. Such a touching moment. I felt the tears running down my face as the operation continued. The nurse must have seen it because next thing I know she was dapping the tears away from my eyes. But it just wasn't my eyes that were crying. It was my heart hurt by the loneliness. But even though there was no one there close to me at the moment to hold my hand, I will always keep the faith close to my heart. Honey, I can't stand the rain.
Wow. My listeners, that's from the upcoming novel, Honey, I Can't Stand the Rain, the story of survival, by Mr. R.L. Norman. R.L., that's powerful, poignant stuff.
Thank you.
Now, to lighten the mood, I'm going to pretend like I'm Michael Jackson.
Okay.
And if Michael heard that, he would say, "Oh, Tito, give me a tissue. Give me a tissue. Oh, Tito, I need a tissue. Tito, where are you, Tito? I need a tissue."
Then my point has been made.
Yeah, with this bad Michael Jackson imitation that I just did. But anyway, thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate that. Okay, let's segue into something else. My man, you are truly a profile in courage, and that is not a hyperbole, because you've had some serious health challenges this past year, but
Yes.
you successfully made it to the other side. Would you mind telling us about that?
I have, without going through a list, I have 5 health issues that I have to deal with on a daily basis. These issues are something that just happened. It wasn't nothing I necessarily did or didn't do. So sometimes my life is a struggle because every day I wake up, I have to think about what I can and cannot do, so to speak. Or I have to check my body for pains and ailments or situations. But as I do this, I will say that I have been told that nobody would ever know I'm sick because I don't walk around like that. I walk around with a positive attitude, and
That's
I
true.
try to encourage everybody to walk around with a positive attitude. We all have health issues, so I'm not trying to discount anybody's health issues at all. We all have health issues, whether they're major, minor, or whatever, but I just try to be positive as much as possible all the time. So it's been a struggle, I will admit, but I still enjoy my life the best way I can. Shake my booty on the dance floor and have a good old time.
Shaking that tail fella.
Taking my tail feather. Exactly. So I hope that I personally, not just the book that's going to come out, but I hope I personally am encouraging other people to realize that we still can live our life under these certain circumstances, which is what I'm doing. And trusting God, because I need God to do all this, and the support of family and friends like you.
Oh, I really appreciate that. And yeah, what I admire about you so much, RL, is that you have not allowed your challenges to derail turning your dreams into realities. I mean, you're an author, a performer, a podcaster, a columnist, an entrepreneur. Yeah, I mean, you're one of the hardest working multi-hyphenates out there. Brother, you're one of the hardest working multi-hyphenates on the planet. So, so inquiring minds want to know, what's the mantra, the philosophy that keeps you achieving and succeeding? Drill down a little bit more on that.
When I was a kid, I always had goals and aspirations, and I just strive to reach those goals the best I can. So if I'm going through any kind of health issue, I will let that subside to the point that I can get back on the horse and keep riding, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So I just believe in picking a goal and achieving that goal the best I can. Whether I do it 100% is fine. I just make sure that I do the best I can do in all situations.
Exactly. And you know what? That's all we really can, ask for. And since, my friend, we're discussing perseverance, it's a perfect time to turn to intimate partner violence and abuse, or IPVA.
Right.
I'm a survivor. You've been through it.
I'm the survivor.
Mm-hmm. We both are, thank God. And, this is a horrific, demoralizing, and is potentially life-threatening cycle of abuse, and is known as domestic violence and abuse within the LGBTQ community. And before you share your story, allow me to share with the audience some pertinent information. For example, according to the National Coalition of Anti-Violence Programs, IPVA, Intimate Partner Violence and Abuse, and I quote, is a pattern of behaviors utilized by one partner, the abuser or the batterer, to exert and maintain control over another person, which is the survivor or the victim, where there exists an intimate, loving, independent relationship. And catch this, each year between 50,000 to 100,000 lesbians or more, and as many as 500,000 or more gay SGL men are battered. In other words, IPVA ain't no joke. And COVID, the pandemic, has made it worse. I can't get the word out. Thank you. What is wrong with me? The pandemic has made this potentially deadly cycle of abuse worse because of, sheltering in place, job losses, and you've got the emotional turmoil. And I just want everyone to remember this before we get into your story. Domestic violence and abuse are used for one purpose and one purpose only. That is to gain and maintain total control over you. Abusers use fear, guilt, shame, intimidation to wear you down, to keep you under their thumb. So always remember that you deserve to feel valued, respected, and safe. And stigma is the driving force that keeps IPVA swept under the rug. So therefore, that leads to IPVA to be dramatically underreported. Now, would you, my friend, tell us about your story?
Okay. I was living in New York, and I had been with this person for several years. And slowly, they started mentally and physically abusing me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that they was on drugs at one point.
Oh, wow.
And that's because, I grew up in the Brady Bunch family in New Jersey, so to speak. So
yeah.
The drug thing and all that kind of craziness, I had no experience with that kind of situation. So I didn't know what was going on. All this was happening behind my back.
Right.
So it got to the point where mind you, I was very in love with this person.
Mm-hmm.
So he had me believing that nobody else would ever want me but him.
Mm-hmm.
He had me believing if I ever left him that something would happen to me. The physical abuse was very unpredictable. The mental abuse was a daily thing because I never knew exactly what was going to be happening.
Right.
So I did experience black eyes, broken bones, and we all go through that. I won't leave him because I love him. I can change him situation.
Absolutely.
We all go through that. What happened to you? I ran into a door, or I fell accidentally. We all go through that. But as many times as I wanted to leave him, for some reason he had that hold on me. And I didn't realize until a while later that I was actually being abused.
Right.
I was in this situation. I one day I just reached my boiling point, and I packed my bags, and I walked out the door and never turned back.
I'm so glad.
And I encourage anybody who, first of all, if you think you know somebody in that kind of situation, and as Wyatt just said, the COVID situation with the quarantine has really, what's the word, exasperated or enhanced
Right.
the domestic violence situation, because there's nowhere to go. People are trapped, so to speak. We can't go out because there's nowhere to go. But if you know somebody you think's in that situation, you really need to continually try to help them get out of it. Especially if you definitely know it and they keep giving you excuses, trying to play it off like it's not happening. Don't believe them. Something's happening. And those people who are in that situation, you're going to have to get the courage, like I did, pack your bags, and walk out the door, because there's a whole another world out there for you that you could be happy in, besides being trapped in this situation with somebody who doesn't deserve you. I luckily made it out, but a lot of people don't.
Yep. You're absolutely right, because Huffington Post actually this past week did this article where victims, survivors who managed to leave their abuser because of COVID, because of job loss and financial insecurity, they're actually going back.
Oh, man.
Yeah, or as well, they are afraid to, victims are afraid to leave because there's no money.
Exactly.
And black and brown people are catching it even worse, because COVID is affecting black and brown people health-wise and economically, financially, at least twice the rate of white people. And, you have a lot of black and brown people who don't have savings.
Exactly.
So if you don't have any money, how can you leave?
And that was part of my problem, too.
With me, 90%, with intimate partner violence and abuse, there are three types. You have the emotional, you have the mental. Emotional and mental, there's synergy together with those two, and physical. So there's emotional abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse. Fortunately, I don't know, I wouldn't say fortunately, but with me, it was 90% was emotional and mental. And sometimes those emotional and mental scars are harder to heal than the physical.
Yes.
So that was my experience. And I always tell my workshop and seminar attendees that the most potent, the most powerful weapon in the abuser's arsenal is silence.
Right.
So in order to make your great escape, which is the phrase I've coined for my workshops and seminars, you must tell somebody. And if you visit WyattEvans.com, I have a special IPVA section with some helpful resources, because, the first step is telling somebody. So I want to really thank you for sharing that story.
No problem. I just hope it helps somebody out there.
I think it will. I just think that, intimate partner violence and abuse, particularly within the LGBTQ community, is just not talked about the way it should be.
Exactly.
Because of the stigma. And the more people like yourself and myself who talk about it, the better, because again, silence is the weapon, and we have to just keep shining that light on it.
Exactly. Yeah. Got to bring it out there.
So, I heard through the grapevine.
Okay. Getting nervous here. What's in the grapevine?
Well, you should be nervous. You really.
What's the word on the curb?
Well, you should be nervous, because you have to understand. You have to understand that I have a vast number and types of resources to find out any kind of information I want.
Okay. Okay.
You would not. I have a computer machine where I can just push a button and information just spits out. So, okay. So I'm going to give you a chance. So I don't have to use this machine, but I've already used it.
Okay.
This is my question. I understand, Mr. Norman, that your moniker, you call yourself the old school romantic. What is that all about? Old school romantic. What? Old school romantic.
I am in romantic, and I'm old school. I like romance, and I like to give romance, and I like to receive romance, and I think that in this day and age, that a lot of people don't do that anymore. I am a very big fan of giving just because gifts, so to speak. I don't give you a gift just because it's your birthday. I give you a gift because I love you, or I think about you.
That's so
Or I
nice.
make a phone call or send a text. I'm an old school romantic, because in the olden days, that's what people did. Husbands came home with a bouquet of flowers just for nothing, just because. And I think these days, a lot of people focus on the physical aspect of their relationship, which of course is important to an extent, but I focus on other things besides the physical. And I like romance. You know, call me up and just say hi for no reason. I'm cool. Give me a just because, or accept my just because. I am a romantic. I like candlelights, or walks in the parks and stuff like that.
I'm with you. I like that too. And romance, I believe, is so necessary now when you're talking about dating in the time of COVID, because this is what I don't understand. You can help me with this. We all know that COVID is a respiratory infection, right?
Correct.
Which means that it passes through saliva
Right.
and it passes from person to person. So when you breathe, if someone has it,
Right.
even if the person is asymptomatic, not experiencing symptoms, but actually has it, if you're asymptomatic or whatever, and I breathe your air, I can catch it.
Right.
So what I don't understand is why we don't understand that and try to not get physical so soon right now. Because it was funny, because I went to the doctor 2 weeks ago, just a routine checkup. And so he says to me, a nice Indian guy, really good looking guy.
Okay.
Really, like nice, nicely put together. I said, that's interesting. But of course he had a wedding ring on,
Okay.
So listen, homie, don't play that.
Exactly.
That's heartbreak right there. So he says to me, because I've been seeing him for a while, he says, Wyatt, are you having sex? And I'm saying to myself, you want to have sex with me? That's what went through my head is, you want to have sex with me? Is that why you answered the question? So he says, are you having sex? I said, no. I said, not since the outbreak. That was early this year. He says, because I tell you, he says, the STI rate is the STI rate is just off the hook right now. I mean, seems like everybody has STIs.
Wow.
Yeah, I was shocked. And I'm sure it has to do with people having skin hunger, wanting someone.
Right.
But what people don't understand or don't want to understand is, even if you recover from COVID, even if you recover, you could have symptoms for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
So having said all that, how can two people date in the time of COVID? I mean, what does that look like?
So they're dating without physical contact, right?
I would think so.
Yeah. Which if ST he said STI or STD.
Well, STDs or STIs.
STI is off the chart. That means a lot of people are not taking COVID seriously. I take it seriously because I don't want to get sick. I'm sick enough. I don't need to get sicker. I just think that people need to find other ways to date without having to be physical. And I think it's possible until we can get back to some kind of normalcy in the world. The computer is a very wonderful thing. The internet is a very wonderful thing. Okay, I have a friend of mine who's dating somebody, and they, according to him, they do quite well, even though they haven't been physical since this whole thing started. But it's all about phone calls, communication, text messages, video talking, whatever it is you need to do to keep it going, and that's it. So,
well, let me tell you, I totally agree with you. With Wyatt, the Wyatt show, I'll be sharing shit about myself, and here's a perfect example. Right. This guy that who will remain nameless. We got horizontal in the sheets of years ago, right? So he hits me up and he says, I'm coming to DC. He says, will you see me? I said, and I know what that meant. I said, no, I can't. I said, because I know where it's going to lead. And he was just giving me all of these excuses about, he was saying, nothing's going to happen with the COVID and this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that. And I said, no, I can't do it. So he got very, very upset. And I said to myself, I'm not going to be so thirsty,
right,
that I'm going to, make myself susceptible to something like that. And he didn't want to get tested for whatever reason. But even if you get tested, say noon on Monday, you can have an exposure tomorrow and become positive.
Right.
So we have to do things differently in the time of COVID.
Exactly. We got to take this thing seriously. People are dying every day. And I just think a lot of people just don't seem to comprehend that.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me ask you this. What about two people in a relationship and they're living together? Since you're the romance writer,
yes,
you're the old school romantic, you got two people in a relationship and they're sheltering in place, they're spending more time together. How do you keep the fire in that relationship and keep it burning red hot?
And we're quarantined together, so to speak.
Exactly.
Well, I think that's workable also, because all you need to do is make sure that you all have time alone separately. Because once you miss somebody, it makes it even the attraction is enhanced. If you're on top of each other 24/7, personally, I don't want anybody on top of me 24/7. If I'm quarantined with you, that's okay, because as long as we have more than one room, so to speak, and I can go and get a breath of fresh air, and you can go get a breath of fresh air, so to speak, away from each other, when we come back, it just makes the relationship even better. I missed you even though you was only a room away. You have to do what we have to do. Bottom line, we have to do what we have to do to keep it going. Because there's no way I'm going to quarantine with somebody. If I'm in a relationship, I'm not going to quarantine with you, and I'm going to be up under your underarm 24/7. And I don't want you under my underarm 24/7. Okay, we have to have some space, and we have to come together. Okay.
Oh my God.
And I will, I'll miss you. After a couple hours, you in the other room. Oh, I missed you. So it's all workable. It just takes tolerance, imagination, and patience.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so listeners, look, this is the old school romantic talking. So put that shit in place. Exactly.
You could do it.
Oh man, good advice. Thank you so much for that. There's somebody here who wants to talk to you.
And who was who was that?
You know,
I'm getting scared again. Okay.
don't get scared, please. Don't get scared. I've got a sidekick that will pop in and out of the show, and she has begged me to be a part of the show. And I think I might have made a mistake, but I'll give her like an audition type thing today. And her name, believe it or not, she is Madam Pussygalore Cockadoodledoo. Again, I'm going to introduce Madam Pussygalore Cockadoodledoo. So you ready for her?
Yes, I am. Go ahead.
Come on, baby, pull up to the mic. Yes, I am Madam Pussygalore Cockadoodledoo. I'm the drag queen supreme. And you both got me swooning talking about these relationship issues and the sex and all of that. Yes. Oh, Mr. Wyatt O'Brien Evans, you said I'm your sidekick? Yeah, are you having like hearing issues? Well, just clutch the pearls and stop the train. Sidekick? Oh, don't you mean, Mr. Wyatt O'Brien Evans? Don't you mean your side piece? Don't you wish? Now look, you have a question for our special guest, Mr. Norman. Oh my God, Mr. Wyatt O'Brien Evans. He's actually Mr. Silky Voice.
Okay.
You know, madam, you really need to stop licking your lips and thrusting your tongue out of your mouth like some alien, reptilian person. Alien. That's what you are. Oh, shut up, Mr. Wyatt O'Brien Evans. Okay, Mr. Silky Voice, because I see that Mr. Woe is not going to give me much time here, this little silly-ass audition. So I do have a question. I have one question per view. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, how did you get such a silky, sex-me-up voice? I mean, inquiring minds want to know. Tell us.
Oh, my God, you're so funny. I thank you for the compliment.
I'm waiting. A girl can't wait too long. Mr. Silky Voice, a girl. Don't make a girl wait so long.
When I talk, I try to seduce you at the same time.
Oh my God! Just clutch the pearls and seduce. Oh my God!
Yes, I try to make you think of certain things as I talk to you.
Look, madam, just freaking zip it. Oh, Mr. Wyatt O'Brien Evans, you're just so forceful. Just forceful.
He's so funny.
That is it. You're out of here. You're gone. You know what?
Bye, madam.
She's mad. She's not talking now.
Is that right?
She's not talking anymore. She's up here like she's doing her nails or doing her toes or doing something else. Anyway, let's move on to your one-man show and podcast. Tell us about it.
My one-man show, which after this whole COVID thing gets to some kind of normalcy, I will be having again. The character Norman in my books, he actually gets on stage and he tells his story. Oh. But he tells his story to a series of clips of music. I love old school music. I'm just not an old school romantic, but I love old school. So as Norman is telling this story, he plays different snippets from different songs that are incorporated into his story. So, for example, like my soon to come out book, Honey, Let Me Tell You Love Is a Roller Coaster. Mm-hmm. While he's telling that story about him being married with 2.5 kids and a dog and a white picket fence, he may play the song Roller Coaster by Ohio Players. Ah. Or if Norman is talking about him being lonely, For whatever reason, at that particular moment, he may play the song by Janet Jackson, "I Get So Lonely."
Oh, okay.
So he's not playing the whole song, mind, just little snippets of different songs which he's incorporating into his story. And that is Norman's One Night Stand.
Nice. Okay. Wow.
The podcast, which is called Honey, Let Me Tell You Something Else, because I have a column which is Honey, Let Me Tell You Something, and then I have a podcast, Honey, Let Me Tell You Something Else.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm trying to be like you when I grow up, so I hope it's I hope it be as good as yours.
Oh, please. You flatter me.
But the podcast is going to consist of I would say basically covered events. Not just in the world but on personal issues. Just different things that I think of that we can talk about that maybe people in the world don't have anybody else to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of times that we need to talk to people. And I want the podcast to be like an outlet, to be a inner voice in somebody's ear.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe like we got the situation now with this whole president thing going on.
Yeah.
And I just I may do a show about my point of view on it and other people's point of view on it. So the podcast is just going to be different situations of today, basically.
Got it. Oh, well, we definitely look forward to that. Let me ask you something. You're a successful novelist. What major pieces of advice do you have for aspiring novelists? Those who are writing that book and trying to get it published.
First of all, don't give up. Okay? Never give up. If you are really passionate about writing, never give up. And also realize to write a book is not going to take overnight. It takes a while. It takes different ideas and different writing. So never give up. I myself, what I do during the day is if an idea pops into my head, I'll jot it down or I'll text it to myself so that later on when I get in front of my computer, I have those ideas that I can comply into whatever story I may be thinking about. That's kind of how I write my columns. Something pops in my head and I just decide to write about it. As far as the getting the published part, also never give up. Before the published part, I think what you should do is have several people, maybe 3 people, read little snippets of what you're writing, just to get an idea if they think it's good, bad, or indifferent. And to get published, you can send it to everybody and any publisher. You never know what's going to happen. Like I say, my situation was a total surprise. I wasn't expecting this to be published or anything like that. It just kind of happened. But if you really want to write a book and get a book published, never give up. And always jot down your ideas that pop into your head. And let people read different parts so you have an idea if you're doing right, or if you're doing it right or doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. That's my advice.
Well, sir, that is sound advice coming from the man. Now, what's on tap for 2021? I know you've got 2 books dropping. Give us the titles of those books and tell us anything else.
The 2 books again is Honey, I Can't Stand the Rain, the story Survival, and Honey, Love is a Roller Coaster. 2.5 kids, white picket fence, and a dog.
Okay, baby.
Those are going to drop sometime next year. Also, I'm planning on doing Norman's One Night Stand sometime by the end of next year, because hopefully we'll be back to some kind of normalcy with all this COVID thing. Also, next year I have 5 books.
Wow.
5 honey books. So the Can't Stand the Rain and the Roller Coaster book will make 7. But the first 5 books I am going to compile into 1 book.
Oh.
So by the end of next year, you'll be able to buy all 5 books together, which I call Honey, Let Me Tell You, is the title for all 5 books. So that means you can buy all the 5 books separately, or you could buy one big novel. So I'm giving people a choice. And of course, with my books come a music CD. All 5 books and all 7 books will have a music CD.
Really?
And those music CDs are songs that relate to Norman's life.
Oh.
So after every chapter, Norman relates it to a song. Now, if you listen to music, all music is related to some kind of situation in your life, whether it's love, heartbreak, or whatever. So, like I say, every book comes with a free music CD. And that will continue with I Can't Stand the Rain and Love Roller Coaster. And the total book with all 5 together will come with 5 music CDs. So that's what's on tap.
My brother, all I can say to that is shake your groove thing. Get down tonight.
Yes.
Listen, who's the greatest dancer?
Yes.
Party like it's 1919.
Cause a DJ saved my life, okay?
Let me tell you something. I heard that song earlier today while I was driving. And it brought back memories. Sweet
yes.
memories.
Yes. I love old school music.
Oh, yeah. Get down tonight, baby.
Okay. Because love is a roller coaster.
It is, baby. Listen, all I got to say is get down with the get down, baby. Now, listen.
Yes.
Listen. Let me see something else. What up? Oh, yeah. How do we connect with you and follow you?
Okay, I am on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and link it. All you gotta do is put in RL Norman, and I will come up. I do have a website, which at the moment is a long name, but if you plug me into Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, you'll see the name of the website, and I'm easily accessible.
Wonderful. And also, too, let's not forget your Honey, Let Me Tell You Something column at WyattEvans.com.
Yes.
Yes.
I write a monthly column about different situations that pop in my head, as I said before. The ideas that I have they just come out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
They just come and pop in my head, and I've jotted down or texted to myself when I sit in front of my computer, and I write stuff. Mm-hmm. I wrote about domestic violence, as we spoke about. I wrote about love. I wrote about the latest one is about the COVID situation. If you go to WyattEvans.com under his what's called special guest columnist section,
Mm-hmm. Correct.
You'll see all of my columns along with other great. He has other columnists too that are great too. So
that's right.
Yeah, you can see all of us. I think there's like 5 of us, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, actually, there are 3 you, of course, and then we have Mr. W.D. Foster Graham.
Yes.
And we have Mr. Hartzell Shirley.
Yes.
And I want to thank you and all of my guest columnists because you have helped to make WyattEvans.com the go-to destination for news and features and all that good stuff, for the LGBTQ community. You really, really have.
I try my best.
And you do damn good. So, now that's what I'm talking about. Mr. R.L. Norman, thank you for being my good luck charm, my very special guest on the relaunch of my podcast, which is now simply called Wyatt. Yes.
Yes.
And also, too, Miss Thang wants to say something to you as you
Madam.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Mr. Well, just all I want to say is goodbye, Mr. Silky Voice. Goodbye, Mr. Silky Voice.
Goodbye, madam.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
You can find the official Wyatt podcast page on WyattEvans.com. You can follow me, your host, Wyatt O'Brien Evans, on Facebook.com/Wyatt O'Brien Evans, on Twitter at Mr. Woe, that's MISTERWOE, and on Instagram at Mr. Wyatt O, MRWYATTO. And be sure to check out the Nothing Can Tear Us Apart series of novels, with Frenzy being the latest installment, and then its predecessor is entitled Rage at WyattEvans.com. So until next time, woof, God damn it, woof, woof, woof. Oh, Mr. Wyatt O'Brien Evans, just shut up.